my nature is very like, I don't want to be controlled. I want to be free. I'm
Okay.
very like, I'm a free person, you know? And
So
so
that's something you could shift, for example, the control. And why would you like to shift the control?
why would I like to shift the feeling of,
Yeah, the
because it,
control
because I would like, why would I like to shift the feeling of control,
of being controlled. Yeah.
of
The,
being controlled?
yeah, the fear of being controlled.
I would like to shift the feeling of being controlled
The
because
fear.
the fear of being controlled, because it's going to release. I don't know. I don't know why I would like to be. I don't know. I'll be honest with you.
That's the thing. Can you think about that? And then we will come back to this.
So the question to me was, why do I want to shift the fear of being controlled? And at first, it was like, I don't want to shift it. Like, I just
Absolutely.
know because it's protecting me. And then I had images coming up for me of why it was protecting me. And I was afraid of letting go of being of this fear of being controlled because it protects me from confinement, from authority, from social construct, from suffocation, from suffocating. Um, I believed that this fear of being controlled protects me from being trapped, and it gives me protection that I need to be free. So I corresponded this fear of being controlled to freedom. Like, because this is what I'm like, okay, so if I don't want to listen to anybody because I want to be free. I want to be free. I don't want to be confined. I don't, right? And I don't want to
Mhm.
be swallowed, you know? And then I kept asking myself, because it just kept coming up. I'm like, I don't want to let it go. So then I kept writing, why do I want to shift the fear of being controlled? And then again, I'm afraid of being controlled like an animal. I'm afraid of being abused. I want to protect myself from injustice. And then I tried to go into why I want to shift the fear of being controlled because it's linked to not trusting. I want to let go of being of this fear of being controlled because I'm ready for a proper and healthy safety that stems from stability. So the fear of being controlled, I want stability, I want the safety, but it's not coming from a stable place. It's coming from a place of escape. Like, I want to escape so I can find stability. I want to escape so I can find safety. But that escape is not stable because then everywhere I go, I'm trying to escape, ready to let go of the fear of being controlled because I'm ready to be guided in the right path with proper discipline and boundaries because I want to trust God is the one that is guiding me and protecting me from evil because I'm ready to stop escaping. And then I heard you ask somebody else, what will happen if you let go of something? So I asked myself that. I'm like, what will happen if I let go of the fear of being controlled? And then I started crying. And I was like, oh, this feels so unsafe. Like, it feels like I'm unsafe of like letting it go. And then I continued, then my inner child, I recognized my inner child was afraid. Uh, and there's fear and pain around letting it go. And then
Mhm.
images of the women in my family being trapped in relationships that are abusive and suffocating. My inner child wants and desires freedom from suffocation and abuse. um the fear of being controlled protects me from being controlled. Oh, and I feel like it gave me the rebelliousness to be free. Like, I like when I was 17, I escaped my family. Like, I left. It gave me a rebelliousness. Like, I don't need your finances to help me. I don't need, like, because they were all telling me, they were threatening me with finances. Like, we're not going to give you money. We're not going to help you. We're not going to do this. So they didn't show up for me. So then all I had was God to turn to. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, what will it take? What will I do? What will I let go of in order for me to have this freedom? And then I asked myself again, why do I want to let go of the fear of being controlled? Because it was a very hard question. And I'm like, I'm ready to let go of the fear of being controlled because I no longer need to escape because I'm ready to embrace peace. I'm ready to release and embrace something new. I want life of freedom, and I don't need the fear of being controlled to give me that freedom.
Ah, bravo.
And I'm ready to embrace and change. I'm ready to embrace change and peace from the feeling of being controlled because it no longer serves me, and I'm ready for expansiveness. I'm ready to live life without this fear of being controlled. Oh, then I asked myself the question again, and I got chills. So how do I know if I'm in the right place? I would ask myself questions and I get chills throughout my body. That's how I know my soul is responding to me. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna wait for the chills. So I asked myself, and I think this is the first time that I feel like I'm making a shift out of the whole week, because I felt chills for the first time in my body. And so when I asked myself, am I actually ready to release this? And I got a yes, and I felt chills coming through my body. Um,
Bravo.
yeah.
So I have a question for all of you now. Can you replace fear with awareness? Because most of the time, the fear is a guarantee of a, say, like it's a, yeah, guarantee for safety concern. So it's used to protect you from something. But what if you could let go of the fear and keep the awareness?
Mm.
But you can be self-aware and still have the fear. It just like limits you from doing things you want to do in your life.
If you are actually aware enough, you do not need the fear. So in that case, the fear is not useful. I'm not saying that you cannot, it's not possible to have both. I'm saying the moment you are ready to have the awareness, you do not need the fear anymore. Most of the time, it's difficult to let go of the fear, like it was the case because for you, it was a guarantee that you want to be going back into a place of abuse. So for you, that was a survival issue. It was in your security setting as something very important that you needed to keep there. The problem is when you keep any fear there, you become a magnet for the exact thing that your fear are attracting. So the fear of being controlled, why would you want to replace the fear of being controlled? Because that's the best way of being controlled. That's the best way of attracting situation of people in your life that will control you, that will attempt to control you. And then you will engage in that constant battle. Understand?
Wow. Wow.
That's why you want to replace the fear of being controlled. That's the first reason.
Can you attract those people or situations, like even if you're doing the work on yourself? You know, so like let's say like for her, like control. So let's say like she's still attracting control, but she knows better now how to deal with it.
No, because it's not a mental trip. It's a shift of frequency. You understand the work that we are doing? That's not psychotherapy. That's a shift of frequency. You are alchemizing now all the traces, all the vibration in your field that are sending a signal to the universe that is not interesting for you. You alchemize the memories, you transmute the traces, you transmute the low vibration. This is how you're shifting. And that's where the Eat Care protocol is pushing it much further than any other method that I know, because it's an alchemist work that you're doing here. Just if you take just the quantum healing itself or the quantum shift itself, it just, I recognize this and I replace it with that. It's like affirmation. This is not what we're doing. We're using this to open a file, but what we're doing is the alchemist work. It's a work of transmutation.
So then when I feel when I feel the chills on my body, that's how I know I've made the shift.
Yes, but for other people, it could be like, your body will express in different ways.
Okay.
You have to learn to know your body, to communicate with your body. Everybody will have different reactions, but everybody will feel somehow a point of relief. There is a release. There is something shifted maybe in your breath. You're breathing differently.
Mm.
You know, you will learn to tune into your body in such a refined way that you will not get to know what your body is saying.